Day 8 at the Makuhari Messe in Tokyo, and we're down to the last 8 in the women's goalball. Expect emotions to be running high. The number of teams in play will be halved as we head towards the semi-finals. It's the knockout end of the competition. Now, coming up in the first session, it'll be a huge game for host Japan against the European silver medalists Israel. But we start with a bit of a David v Goliath matchup. Title holders, world silver medalists and European champions Turkey face a team making their best ever run at a Paralympic Games, the ambitious Australia. It promises to be quite a match.
It really does. If you looked at the history in the form book, you might think it's only going one way, but we've seen some very big upsets before in these knockout stages. And looks like a very exciting match, and you can see from the bracket there just the quality of teams we've got in this competition.
So Turkey taking on Australia for a place in the last 3. Because we're in the knockout end of the competition, there has to be a winner from every match. Be ready for possible golden goal, overtime, or even extra throws. So just one defeat for Turkey in the group stages in that final game against the USA, who had to settle for silver in Rio. But Australia really growing in confidence following a first win in 25 years. Back in 1996, a 4-1 win after that against the world champions.
And Australia here in the quarter-final, really historic moment for them. They started with a mercy rule defeat to Israel and a heavy defeat to China, but they improved. A narrow win over Canada, that was a real test for them, and they qualified in 4th place to experience this big moment in the history of Australian women's goalball.
So that net is a massive 9 meters wide. And we've got a growing audience for goalball thanks to this sensational competition at Tokyo 2020. But for those latecomers, here's a brief explanation. It's played by athletes with visual impairment. They'll be wearing eye shades. They're aiming to score using a ball that has bells in. So you just double check how Turkey made it through to this stage. The defending champions, winners over Japan, Egypt and Brazil, and that 1-goal defeat. As well as an overall timer and a backup timer as well. Lots of paperwork for a visually impaired sport. So let's take a look at this team list for Australia, and they really are making great shades, a mixture of experience and youth. Brodie Smith, the number 9, a rookie coming into Tokyo, but she has really played herself, hasn't missed a minute of the competition. Won gold at the Under-19 World Championship in Hungary back in 2017. Was top scorer in that one as well. And Mika Horsberg, top scorer for the Australians so far. with Tian Taylor, Jenny Blow, Racer Martin, Amy Ridley all playing their part as well. As for Turkey, again, we have a lot of young players in this side, but one name stands out, the number 3, Sevda Altunaluk. She's been top scorer at more competitions than some of these players have attended. She really does get the ball motoring up the playing surface, but keep an eye on the number 1 as well, Fatma Gulgulesh, just 17 years old, and she is racking up the goals in this competition here at Tokyo 2020.
Yeah, I'm very excited about seeing Sevda Altunaluk on court, true Paralympic legend, and it was her 3 goals that helped Turkey to win gold in 2016. Can she do it again here in Tokyo?
So just taking a little look at the back of Mika Horsberg. 8 goals, as you say, top scorer for the Australian side with this. Yellow scarf on her head. She's got a really interesting story to tell about some of the dark places she's been and how sport has brought her back into the light and turned her life around. Looks like Australia will be going with their favoured starting 3. We'll find that in a moment. You can see the gauze patches over our players' eyes. That goes underneath the eye shades, which will be on. Well, that suggests to me that Turkey are ready to make this a good match. Fatma Gulgulesh has her eyes taped up, as does Sevda Altunaluk. 21 goals, 192 throws, and she hasn't played every minute of this tournament as well. So it may look as though things randomly happen in goalball, but it's not. It's about throwing strategies, it's about throwing patterns, it's trying to open up the game to score at a specific point with the right shot at the right time. Lots of strategy, lots of thinking going into that. So we confirm the Australian starting lineup on the left wing. It will be Mika Horsberg. Jennifer Blow will be in the centre. Brodie Smith probably over on the right, although they do alternate at times. Could be Horsberg over on the right. Australia will be playing on the right-hand side of the pictures we're watching. Turkey on the left. And Reyhan Yilmaz will take up the centre spot for Turkey. The 17-year-old Gulesh over on the left. Sevda Altunaluk. Well, she can play where she likes. She's equally powerful from any position in front of that 9-metre wide goal. And there's the hooter.
Both sides starting with a fairly established starting 3, not taking any risks at this stage of the competition.
We have hooters, we have whistles. You may even hear something that sounds a bit like a squash duck. The hooter tells us what time is happening in the match because the players obviously can't see a clock. And the last one we heard there told us it was 90 seconds before play begins. The eye shade check underway. Each referee checking that the eye shades are fit for purpose, no gaps, no light going through them, and everybody will be equally visually impaired. In this sport, which is played only by the visually impaired, no adaptation needed, and that's what appeals to so many of these athletes, that it's a sport for them, played by them. The referee will get play underway with a whistle. You'll hear 3 blasts at the beginning of the match, 2 blasts if there's a goal, and 1 blast will stop play and restart play. And then at the end of the match, we'll have 3 blasts of the whistle again. I mentioned we need to have a winner today. We will go to golden goal overtime if the scores are level after the regulation, 12 minutes each way, and a 3-minute half-time break. I'm not entirely sure what the Australian little mascot they've got, a kookaburra maybe, but Australia with the indigenous design on their eye shades.
Looks very cute, whatever it is.
Next game is between Turkey on my left and Australia on my right. I would like to remind everyone to switch off your mobile phone. And please keep quiet while the ball is in play. Thank you. Turkey start with the ball. Quiet, lead, center.
We've reached the women's quarter-final stage of the goalball at the Makuhari Messe in Tokyo 2020. Turkey looking to continue their title defence against the underdogs Australia. And Turkey take an early lead. Sevda Altunaluk living up to her star billing by getting Turkey straight away in front.
Well, the killer question of this match is going to be how do Australia respond to Sevda Altunaluk? And what a good start there from her.
Really fired up Australians. Mika Horsberg on the right wing, just putting a slow bouncer into the centre of the court. Altunaluk on the left wing for Turkey. Attacks that centre. Jenny blows strong. Cross court from Horsberg. Yilmaz recovering. Gulgulesh. Brodie Smith. She plays that one straight ball down the middle. Yilmaz is very fired up for this match. Plenty of noise coming from the centre. But apart from that opening shot, but Australia now looking a little more comfortable in defence. Quite often we see shots coming from a break in play. So a little testing shot from Fatma Gulgulesh. And denied by the post in the end. Brodie Smith putting that one back down on the left-hand side. You may hear some strange noises from our players as well. They're allowed to, if they're in possession of the ball. Australia calling a timeout. If there is an opportunity while they are in possession of the ball to try and distract their opponents with some little noises, you will hear the players doing it, and each team seems to have its own little trademark noise, really.
They do. We heard the Turkey centre in the men's competition singing "We Will Rock You" throughout the match. Created a very interesting soundtrack. They must be irritating for the opposition.
Precisely the point. I think they might do. Gültekin Karasu, the Turkey coach, won't have too much to worry about so far. And with Sevda Altunaluk, it wasn't a question of if she'd score, it would be when. The answer in the opening seconds of the match. Australia with the ball. Mika Horsberg on the right wing, just coming slightly in court. Oh, and she's found the right-hand corner of the Turkish net and levelled things up. Turkey won, Australia won.
Well, Australia absolutely delighted with that. Mika Horsberg. And they weren't dispirited by that early goal from Altunaluk, and now they're right back in it. World number 10 level with world number 1.
And a bit of pressure there. The Australians making Sevda Altunaluk give away a penalty. 1-1 it goes in goal ball. If you give away the penalty, you have to defend it. A long ball given. Horsberg against Altunaluk. Unlucky there for Mika Horsberg, just going wide of the post on the left-hand side. She hasn't been entirely accurate with her penalty taking in this competition. But with 10 minutes still to go in this first half, 2 minutes played, it's Turkey 1, Australia 1. So Australia will get the ball back, ball over. It means it's basically given back to you because your opponents have failed to regather it in time. Brodie Smith just testing Gulesh on that right-hand wing for Turkey. Back in defence. Magnificent eye shades with the indigenous pattern on them for Australia. Oh, and that is a bouncing beauty from Sevda Altunaluk. It slowly made its progress down the court, and once it's in the air, it's so hard to locate. third bounce, just getting past Jenny Blow in the centre and finding the back of the Australian net.
Well, a great example there of why Sevda Altunaluk so lethal in attack. The bounce and spin she gets on it, really hard to defend.
So it's Turkey 2, Australia 1. Just 2.5 minutes played in this first half of 12 minutes. Yilmaz. It's another one of her favoured noises. So the ball blocked out, so that will go back to Australia. And it is Fatma Gulesh who's being peppered with a lot of the blocking responsibilities so far.
Quiet, please. Play.
And again, the 17-year-old targeted by the Australian side. These plays will have been planned in advance of the match. Great stop by Jenny Blow in the centre, coming really high up the court in defence. It's working well for her at Tokyo 2020. Turkey wanting a high ball called there, the bench up in arms, but not given. Judges watching those lines very carefully. Brodie Smith down the left, putting the ball into the centre by the legs of Sevda Altunaluk. As Yilmaz, as Gulesh gets the ball back in. Just a suggestion from the Australian coach Peter Corr that there's a little bit of talking going on when it shouldn't be. Referee's far too busy watching what's happening on the court. Oh, and another bouncer from Sevda Altunaluk makes it a hat-trick. The Turkish star, gold medalist from Rio 2016, is just playing the perfect game so far. Turkey 3, Australia 1.
Well, she was top scorer at Rio, and easy to see why with shots like that.
Things can turn around pretty quickly in goalball. Oh, brilliant block by Brodie Smith. Literally throwing her body to the ground to stop that ball going through. 1.25 kilograms. You can hear the bells inside helping the players locate it. When it hangs in the air, the bells stop. So it's pretty hard once the ball gets airborne. Right, Sevda Altunaluk over on the left wing. Feels her way into position with the goal. Rotational spin. So we have a team penalty called. That's what the hooter suggests. Bit of a conflab going between the officials. So, there we go. So team penalty called for noise on the Turkish bench. And this way means that the Australians get to choose who they want to defend the ball. And once again, they've picked Fatma Gulesh. Brodie Smith rolls it down the court, pulls one back for Australia on the left-hand side. They are playing a really clever game, the Australians, against the reigning Paralympic Games champion. But Turkey lead 3-2.
Well, penalties provide such an opportunity in goalball, one-on-one. And Brodie Smith making full use of the opportunity there.
So a little bit of ebb and flow again. All about the strategies and the throwing patterns for these teams. Gulesh. Oh, she just manages to get it past the hands of Jenny Blow. And there was no way that Brodie Smith could get behind that one to stop it either. Just underneath an outstretched Superman effort to save the ball by Smith. But it's another goal for Turkey.
Well, just 17 years of age and She's showing a performance here that belies that lack of experience. She's looked brilliant today.
Turkey 4, Australia 2. Oh, and again, it is just becoming a Sevda Altunaluk masterclass of bouncing, rotational spin. The height she gets on that ball to put Turkey 3 goals ahead once again. Turkey 5, Australia 2.
Substitution Australia. Out number 1, in number 7.
So Jenny Blow makes way for Raisa Martin. We'll have the eye shade check. Raisa Martin is living the dream here. She told her family when she was a little girl that she wanted to be a Paralympian. She also rather amusingly puts on her biography that she loves indoor rock climbing, but it's harder for her than most because she's colourblind, so she can't see the perfect route up the wall. Oh, that was a good effort by Brodie Smith, trying to get in between the defensive feet of Yilmaz and Gulesh. Another bouncer from Sevda. Better effort there by Australia. Horsberg with her feet stopping the ball. Doesn't always help that you know what's coming from the Turkish end of the court.
Please, play.
Gulesh. Brodie Smith to Yilmaz. Oh, and that is off the feet of Raisa Martin. It looked like she'd blocked the ball out, but unfortunately it went back and into the corner of the net.
Well, Australia might have feared the potential gulf in class here, and unfortunately it's starting to show. There's 10 places between them in the world rankings, and starting to extend their lead on court as well.
Going into this match, it did look like an impossible win for Australia, but they beat the world champions, the RPC, in the group stages of this competition and beat them well, 4-1. I'll talk about that one for a while. But they would like to get some more goals back here. Raisa Martin in centre. Hands it to Horsberg on the right. She's testing Sevda Altunaluk. Needs a run up for this one, goes off court, comes back into play, spins. And Brodie Smith solidly keeping that out. So we have another timeout. The Australians looking to come up with a plan with less than 6 minutes to play of this first half.
And it's a bit of a family affair there, looking at the Australian setup. The Australian assistant coach is the daughter, sorry, is the father of Brodie Smith.
It's probably worth mentioning as well that the Australians were unfunded on their run to Tokyo 2020. They did a lot of fundraising to make sure that they could get here. They're doing their country proud so far, and they're creating a pathway for athletes to follow. It's always harder to be the first. Horsberg. Into the stomach of Yilmaz. Sevda gets that one flying. It's got to come the best part of a metre off the ground when she manages to get the energy into that ball. Horsberg going for a bouncer of her own. Yilmaz making way for Gulesh. She goes across court, goes past Martin, but Horsberg has it covered. So Yilmaz looking to get the ball back in play as quickly as possible in that 10 seconds. Smith to Altunuluk. Kulesh, though, sneaking it back over to the right wing for Turkey. She's small but mighty.
Yeah, looking at the force of which she hurls that ball around. You wouldn't know from looking at her, but very strong offensive player.
That's a great use of the legs by Yilmaz. Turkey 6, Australia 2, 4 minutes and 16 seconds remaining on the countdown clock in the first half of the first of the women's quarter-finals on day 8 at Tokyo 2020. Has been a masterclass from Sevda Altunuluk in terms of throwing so far. But the Australians aren't bowing down. That's up. Oh, and it's off the hip of Raisa Martin. 2 bounces on the court, 1 on a player. Another for Sevda Altunuluk. 7-2 to Turkey.
You can see clearly there the spin and the bounce she gets. Makes her so hard to defend, and a valiant effort from the Australian defence, but 7-2.
So hard to stop the bouncing shots, especially when it makes contact with the court only twice. When it's in the air, it's virtually silent. It's good to have the microphones around the playing area so we can hear the ball. And many people out there following this game know exactly where that ball is, even if they are also visually impaired. So we're trying not to step on these throws. Just a little bit of a misfire there from Mika Horsberg. It came out of her hand and went off on the right-hand side, just wiping away the sweat. Just a slippery hand. Sevda's in the middle. Oh, and Raisa Martin throwing herself up and off the court there and stopping that ball beautifully. Gulesh fancies her chances. Martin snuffs that one out. Brodie Smith making her first Paralympic Games appearance. Has played every minute for Australia, though, in this competition so far. Horsberg. Planning to start a family after this competition. She will be retiring after Tokyo 2020. Just keeping an eye on the time. 10 seconds of possession per player, per team. Sevda's come over to the right. Oh, and that was a smooth, skippy ball along the surface. Responded in kind by Brodie Smith down the left.
Time out, Turkey.
So the Turkish players sporting a one-armed, rolled-up sleeved approach. Sevda has her right sleeve rolled up, as does Yilmaz, has her left sleeve rolled up. I think it's to show off how much work they've been doing in the gym.
Absolutely, and you really can see it when they make their throws. Turkey's had quite a big change in personnel since Rio 2016. Very few of the gold-winning side still in the team, but they've looked very, very strong and certainly hasn't held them back.
Sevda, the sole gold medalist in the team from Rio 5 years ago. Here's Yilmaz.
Long ball number 2.
Gives away a penalty. So long ball, Yilmaz will have to defend this. Australia have the opportunity to pull a goal back. 1 3/4 minutes to go in this half.
Quiet,
Australia trail by 5.
Play.
It's Horsburgh. And it's saved by Yilmaz. Horsburgh choosing to go into the centre.
Yeah, Horsburgh's been struggling with her penalties all tournament, and another missed opportunity there.
So Sevda Altunaluk getting the ball back in play. Her younger sister Sevtap is on the bench. There's no cause to make any substitutions at this point.
Out. Quiet, please. Play.
Oh, what a great shot by Mika Horsburgh. She finds the gap between Yilmaz and Altunaluk. She pulls one back. It's Turkey 7, Australia 3.
Well, that was an incisive throw, just bisected the gap between the two Turkish defenders. And maybe Australia still in this quarter-final.
Oh, what a great collection there by Brodie Smith, right on the line. The ball going quiet. Difficult to locate. We're into the last minute of this first half. Horsburgh blocking that one out.
Quiet, please. Play.
It's quite a gap between Gulesh and Yilmaz. Blocked again by Horsburgh. But you've got to get the right angle to try and prise the gaps open in goal ball. So just a couple of plays left in this first half, and Raisa Martin with a yoga-style triangle pose to block the ball there. One more shot for Sevda Altunaluk at the end of this first half. Builds up for a big one, but Raisa Martin has that covered. She's picked it up. And we're at the end of the first half, where we've seen a throwing masterclass by one of the greatest women players in the sport. Sevda Altunaluk putting Turkey 7-3 up at the break.
Well, the question was always going to be, could Australia neutralise the threat from Sevda Altunaluk? There was a flurry of goals early on, but Australia starting to hold Turkey at bay, and they've come back with a few goals of their own. It's certainly not a second half you want to avert your eyes from.
Well, look at that scoreboard. She is likely to become the top scorer in this tournament. She's familiar with that. 6 goals and a penalty so far for Sevda Altunaluk, so all 7 of those goals. But Australia showing real character, levelling the match at 1-1 against the world champions, the European champions, silver medalists at the World Championship. Australia won their first match for 25 years in the group stages of this competition. Mika Horsburgh absolutely delighted to have pulled her team level there. But otherwise it was Sevda, Sevda, Sevda. Well, one thing's for sure, back home in Australia, the fans will be shouting them on. Whatever happens in this match, Australia have already done their country proud. Known as the Aussie Bells, they play with the ball that has the bells. and they are looking to take this sport forward. As is often the way with goalball, so many athletes that are playing at Tokyo 2020 seem to have found it a little later in life, really. Mid to late teens. Some of the players who started when they were much younger, the likes of Amanda Dennis and Sevda Altunaluk, really showing what starting this sport at an early age means. And if you're worried about encouraging your children to play a sport like this, they do start with a soft sponge ball when they first start playing. So there won't be 1.25 kilograms of weight being smacked into their young faces. Magnificent eye shades as well for the Australians. Those circles representing the states and territories of Australia. There's even a boomerang on there to show how it's as a tool to help you, but also can be how things can set you back. We're ready to go at the beginning of this second half.
Turkey on my left, Australia on my right. Half-time score, Turkey 7, Australia 3. Half-time substitution, Australia out number 7 in number 2. Sorry, corrected. Second half start with the team penalty, delay of game, Turkey.
So Australia are going to have a free shot at goal.
So that was a delay of game penalty. Can be a number of things. It means either side's late coming out on court, or it can be an issue with the paperwork. All kinds of paperwork has to be done around a half-time substitution, and it's possible that some of the paperwork wasn't quite filled in properly at half-time.
And Jenny Blow coming off, making way for Tian Taylor as well. So Australia have a new lineup for this second half, but it's Mika Horsberg looking to try and convert one of these penalties. She's gone down the right wing. And again, it's been saved. Desperately disappointing. As a little bit of miscommunication between Yilmaz and Altunaluk. Horsberg will be disappointed with that, but now we're ready to get underway in this second half.
Second half, Australia start with the ball.
Well, when you look at the difference in scoreline, Australia had 3 penalties. Could very easily be 7-6 under different circumstances.
That's something to work on, as they will prepare, no doubt, to qualify and be part of the Paralympic Games in France when it goes to Paris in 2024. Tian Taylor, 31 years old, comes on in the centre for Australia. She watched the Paralympics at Sydney in the year 2000. That's where she first saw goalball. She's been playing ever since. It's actually Brodie Smith who's moved into the centre. Taylor out on the left wing. Just seeing if she can find a way through that defensive pairing as Altunaluk comes over to the right. Horsberg.
Locked out.
Quiet, please. Play.
Locked out. Quiet, please. Play.
Good stop by Tian Taylor. On tippy toes, full length on the ground. Yilmaz. A little cry of Ola from Sevda Altunaluk. Horsberg going for a smoother, slower ball that sometimes can break play up a little bit.
Quiet, please. Play.
Strong legs from Brodie Smith.
Quiet, please. Play.
So Taylor goes cross court.
Locked out.
Palmed out there by Sevda Altunaluk.
Quiet, please.
Minute and a half played of the second half. Turkey 7, Australia 3. That one really struck Brodie Smith hard in the shoulder. She's just rubbing that one off. Gulesh just finding the centre of the court with her feet. Another great block by Brodie Smith. Superman style by Yilmaz in the centre. And replicated at the other end by Brodie Smith. Turkish team quite vocal today. Quite often hear the little noises.
And you're allowed to make noise up until the point where your teammate starts their throw. At that point, you have to remain totally silent or you'll get a noise penalty.
Brilliant work with the feet of Brodie Smith there. On the third bounce of the ball. Cannoned down from Altunaluk. So 3 minutes gone in this second half. Turkey still very much in control. 4-goal lead. But Australia defending strongly. Going through the playbook. Gulesh saying, I want that. Just trying to get it in on the left wing of Australia. But Tian Taylor taking care of it. Horsberg's coming to the middle.
Team penalty, 10 seconds, Turkey.
So team penalty again for against Turkey for 10 seconds, holding the ball for too long. And that means that Australia will have a chance now. Horsberg has given the ball over to Tian Taylor at her third Paralympic Games. Let's see if she can have more luck. She's standing in the centre at the moment. And Australia choosing who faces the penalty this time. Yilmaz was the wrong person to choose. She's celebrating like they've won the title again.
Well, that's an exceptional save. And a reminder, you have 10 seconds once the ball comes into defensive contact to get your shot away. And just too long on it there.
A bit like the England football team, Australia will perhaps want to go away and practice their penalties. But it's so tough when you're up against one of the greatest teams in the world.
Quiet, please. Play.
Drop out. Quiet, please. Play.
So in goalball at the centre, sort of marshalling the two wingers, distributing the ball right and left. That goes right, but it's Sevda Altunaluk who just tests out Horsberg on that right-hand side. And Horsberg realising that Altunaluk was out of position, tried a quick one down the line. Well, she's calling for an eye shade check, I think. Oh, wet floor, which we've seen quite a bit in the competition. So we've got a little bit of a delay in play here. An equipment check for Sevda Altunaluk. And the mops are coming on to sweep up any kind of sweat to take away the potential slip hazards. Referees keeping an eye on for that. They're keeping an eye out for untied shoelaces, sticky lines, you know, if the tape has been lifted up, all of which could be a hazard for our players. Brodie Smith playing a very strong position in central defence for Australia.
Locked out.
Tian Taylor finds her mark.
Play.
Those feet really doing well to stop any efforts by Sevda Altunaluk.
Officials timeout.
And you might be wondering why Australia just threw the ball out there. That 10-second shot clock. It's better to put the ball out and concede possession to the opposition rather than risk a one-on-one penalty. We've seen today just how vulnerable one-on-one penalties can make you, and better to just transfer possession rather than risk an almost certain or very likely goal. Although Australia's penalties haven't quite been as they might have wanted today.
Yeah, the numbers, if they had been converted, would make this a very, very tight match.
Quiet, please. Play.
But that's something that a bit of funding will help improve. Sevda Altunaluk just finally getting through the feet of Brodie Smith. The power on that shot from Altunaluk. More of a skippy shot into the back of the net. It's 8 goals for Sevda Altunaluk. Turkey lead Australia 8-3.
And that's her trademark celebration there, the love heart. And she's found the gap once again. It's 8-3.
Eight goals on day 8 of the goalball competition at Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Started the day with 8 teams. Oh, and that is number 9 for Sevda Altunaluk, rolling it down the line. Just getting it past Tian Taylor, reacting just too late because that ball was slower than it usually is, but it was still coming pretty quick. Turkey 9, Australia 3. Less than 7 minutes to play in this second half. Timeout called.
Well, 6 goals is the deficit at the moment. And if it's your first time watching goalball, if that lead was to extend to 10 goals, quite rare in knockout competitions, but we have seen it happen. Australia doing everything they can to avert that, but if we did reach a 10-goal deficit, then that would be the end of the game, and this game would come to a premature end. They wouldn't be the first side to be knocked out by Turkey on the mercy rule. And 4 goals away, but certainly a possibility at this stage.
So, just under 7 minutes to play in the second half. Turkey with their original starting lineup. Mika Horsberg getting the ball back in play for Australia. Yilmaz just blocking that out with her feet. We've got the 2 Turkish wingers over on the right-hand side. It's Altunaluk looking to wrap this match up.
Substitution Australia. Out number 2, in number 7.
So Raisa Martin coming back on the court. Taking the place of her central defence teammate Tian Taylor. Brodie Smith will move over to the left wing. Martin will go back into the centre. So Yilmaz just getting her goggles, her eye shades, I should say, check to make sure they're things. Sometimes it's the sweat, they're itchy, they might have moved slightly. Players not allowed to touch them, they'll pick up a penalty, and repeated infringements could actually see them sent off, eliminated from the game. So very disciplined not to actually just be touching your face. I think a lot of people can sympathise with that in the last year. Here's Horsberg.
Locked out.
Absolute silence in the arena. Very much a sport that you have to listen and can enjoy listening to the sounds of the sport being played. And the benches helping the referees in any way they can. So Gulesh is over in the middle right of the Turkish attacking zone. Brody Smith recovers it on the left for Australia. Goes down the line. Here come the big guns. Altunaluk blocked, though, by Brody Smith. Just a bit of gentle ebb and flow about the match at the moment. Turkey, the defending Paralympic champions from 2016, unbeaten in that competition. It's when they made their debut in the Paralympic Games. In goalball. And Sevda Altunaluk, called again for a long ball, is the sole survivor from Rio 2016. She's going to have to face the penalty now. Can Australia finally make one of these penalties count?
Quiet, please. Play.
No, they can't. Brody Smith just going wide on the left-hand side.
So Turkey wanted that to be called as a long ball itself there, but because the ball bounced off court rather than in court, it's not.
So Australia unable to close the gap as we head towards 5 minutes left of this women's quarter-final match, the first of 4 on day 8 in Tokyo 2020. 5 minutes to play, Turkey 9, Australia 3. It's really special skills you have to kind of levitate into the air like Risa Martin was there to block that shot from Altunaluk. Kind of hover above the playing surface on their side. Brody Smith. Gathered by Yilmaz. So another big throw from Altunaluk. She has to face the penalty again. Australia have another chance to throw the ball in the opposition net. Brody Smith just mistiming her block there. Yes, that is a goal! Mika Horsberg gets Australia a goal closer to the world number 2. The Paralympic champions Turkey leading 9-4.
Well, their performance from penalties today hasn't been the best, but Mika Horsberg finally found her throwing arm, and 3 goals today, and finally Australia convert a penalty.
Peter Core, assistant Simon Smith with the water bottles. Chance for the Australians to have a chat after Turkey called the timeout. It's not a huge amount of danger to Turkey at the moment. 5 goals the difference.
Australia have started to stem that flow of Turkish goals, but it's still difficult to see a way back for Australia here.
Teams do have a rest before the semi-finals. No, they play, actually, they play on day 9. The women are back on day 9. The men got a day off after the quarterfinals on day 7. So actually, it could be a question of whether players need to start being rested. So called for a couple of long balls, but it hasn't stopped Sevda Altunaluk going for those booming bouncers down the court. Here's Gulesh. Just misses on the Australian right-hand side. Forsberg's coming to the middle. Just attacking the gap between Gulesh and Yilmaz and finds the space. Australia have pulled another one back. It's Turkey 9, Australia 5.
That's a brilliant throw from Mika Forsberg. Getting past Sevda Altunaluk. Not only is Altunaluk amazing in offence, she's a renowned defender and saver of penalties, so to get one past her is very impressive indeed.
So we've got substitution for Turkey. Yilmaz is going to make way for Shedanur Kaplan. Picks up a silver medal at the World Championships in Malmo and at the European Championships in 2017 in Lahti, Finland. Kind of feel that the Turkish bench are behaving in a little rattled way at the moment, but 4 goals still the deficit. Turkey 9, Australia 5. But it's been a brilliant performance from the underdogs. Whilst we've seen a masterclass of throwing by Sevda Altunaluk. A one-woman goal machine for Turkey. Mika Forsberg going for the same channel that just added a 5th for Australia. Didn't help well. Bounces over Martin. She manages to recover it. Back to Forsberg. Testing that gap again. Gulesh. Altunaluk. Whirling her way up the court. Transferring that speed into her arm. Kaplan. There's Racer Martin deciding there won't be enough time to get that ball back in play. So ball over.
It's very impressive. Obviously the players can't see the shot clock, so they need to sense by instinct those 10 seconds, and more often than not they get it right.
Goalballers have internal clocks clearly set for 10 seconds. Here's Forsberg. Again, it is that leg-to-leg defence between Kaplan and Gulesh that she's targeting. Sevda going down the line, but just missing as it goes wide off the court. Brodie Smith now. She's gone down the left. Just attacking that pocket number 3 as they were Australia, perhaps hoping to pull Gulesh further in court and then attack down the line. Going back to attacking the number 3 pocket of Turkey. As that one just wanders out of play. So we're heading into the dying seconds of this match. 99 seconds on the clock. Turkey 9, Australia 5.
Quiet, please. Play.
It could be a big moment coming up for young Amy Ridley for Australia.
Turkey.
As Turkey call the timeout. In possession of the ball, so they can stop the clock for 45 seconds. Have a chat with the players. Perhaps share with them the plan. Peter Corr will be very proud of his Aussie bells. No stranger to parasport.
Well, the amount of preparation that goes into these final throws, they will plan it play by play. And using that timeout just as an opportunity to work out their game plan.
Altunaluk poised,
Quiet,
sleeve rolled up,
play.
right-handed, across the court,
Locked out.
Fingertip block by Horsberg.
Play.
Substitution Turkey. Out number 1. In number 7.
So we're going to see Fatma Gulesh make way for Sevtap Altunaluk. Sevda's little sister by a year, 26 years old. She's already got 2 goals in this competition in Tokyo 2020. So Sevtap and Sevda. Doesn't make the commentary much easier.
I think Gulesh, having proved her worth and played so well today, I think they're just resting her for a potential semi-final.
So the referee's happy with the eye shade check.
And perhaps worth saying the winner of this match will play Israel against Japan, the winner of that, and they're on court next.
So substitution called by Australia, and what a big moment this is for young Amy Ridley, the 19-year-old law student. She's won awards as a young coach. She's also picked up a silver medal at the Under-19 World Championships, but she's taking to the stage at the Paralympic Games for the first time. Proudly wearing the green and gold of Australia, ribbons in her hair. She puts on that eye shade. I wonder what she's feeling like. Representing your country for the first time on court in the goalball at the Paralympic Games. Deep breath. The ball is hers. And that one safely delivered down the court. As Turkey called for a substitution.
Out number 3. In number 6.
So Sevda is taken off the playing area. And Kadesh Çilek comes on the court. She's only 20 years old, but she's already picked up gold medal at the Europeans, silver, and a world silver medal from 2018 as well. So the talent through the Turkish squad, the young squad, is fantastic. Great program for goalball in Turkey. We're into the last minute of this first women's quarter-final. And it is a mistake by Sevtap Altunaluk. She's going to have to defend a long ball. Who will be taking this for Australia?
Quiet, please. Play.
Mika Horsberg on the right. Cuts the deficit to 3 goals. Turkey 9, Australia 6.
Well, Mika Horsberg's found her scoring form from the one-on-one, and she's been excellent today, real precision. And if this is her last Paralympics, she can be very proud indeed.
Absolute confidence in delivering that ball from her right-hand side to the left. She believed in herself, and that ball went into the net. But that is an absolute peach from the latest addition to the Turkish lineup, Kader Çelik. Going from the right-hand side, and it was a slow testing ball, just defeating Mika Horsberg on the right. So Turkey firing right back at it. Turkey 10, Australia 6. Are we in for a flurry of final goals in the last 46 seconds of this match? Sevtap Altunaluk, blocked by Risa Martin. Brody Smith, rather. Picks her tired body up off the playing surface. Çelik gets herself into position. A little bit of a dummy. Horsberg, 2 or 3 plays left in this match. Here's Sevtap Altunaluk. Mirroring that rotational shot. Australia looking to be quick back down. Probably time for one more play in this match. before we have the hooter and the final whistles, Turkey have booked their way into the Paralympic Games semi-final, the defending champions continuing their title defence. Jubilation, Turkey 10, Australia 6.
Well, Turkey, the reigning champions, and it was clear from the second they stepped on court today that they really are a top-tier team, and Australia, as hard as they tried, and some great goals from Mika Horsburgh, but they might be left ruining their accuracy from those one-on-one penalties.
I think Australia have got to pick the positives out of this match. They have taken on the Paralympic Games champion and played a 10-6 match against them. There's stuff that can be improved, including improving maybe the penalty shooting, but that's all good to the team which will have their best ever Paralympic Games finish. But how much does that mean for this Turkish side? Sevda Altunaluk's been here before, but the rest of the team enjoying a Paralympic debut.
And given the fact many of them, it's their first Paralympic, amazing the cohesion they have in the team and how well they work together.
Brodie Smith just holding back the tears there for Australia. She needs to walk off that court feeling proud. 23 years old, she'll be back for Paris. And 10-6 against Turkey is no shame. It's a great performance by the Australians. And if they walk off the court feeling that next time they'll close the gap, then that's job well done. Pathfinders for their country. Those penalties. That's definitely homework for the players. Could have made the difference and would have definitely put more pressure on the Turkish side in this first of the women's quarter-finals. 3 more to come on day 8. But this match will be a brilliant teaching aid as well for any wannabe goalballers. So Turkey through to the last 4. Israel and Japan meet next for the right to take on the defending champions. Later on in the day, we'll see China take on Brazil, and the United States against RPC wraps up the quarter-final action on day 8 of the Games in the women's goalball competition. But with Turkey winning 10-6, it's been a Sevda Altunaluk masterclass. Turkey, we salute you. What a performance by the 2016 defending champions of the Paralympic Games, who make it through to the last 4 in Tokyo.
Well, brilliant performance from Turkey. And they've shown they have every chance of defending their gold medal from Rio. And they started well, and they only really got better. Really clinical performance from them, but Australia certainly made it a competitive game. Lots of goals from Mika Horsburgh. And they can be very proud of their first ever quarter-final, really historic day for them. And they've acquitted themselves very well indeed.
An eighth place finish at Tokyo 2020 for Australia, their best ever result at a Paralympic Games. But this match was all about one player, Sevda Altunaluk. Absolutely bang on target for her country and taking Turkey through to the last four. It's finished Turkey 10, Australia 6.
to sing along to when I'm gone. For them to sing along to when I'm gone. Oh Lord, let me be the one to set them free. I will give them every part of me. Put my heart where everyone can see. They can call me whatever they want. Call me crazy. You can call me whatever you want, but that won't change me. I just don't care what the world says. I'm gonna make it. They can call me whatever they want. So what if I am crazy? This is so much harder than I thought, but I will give them everything I've got. One day I am gonna prove them wrong. Oh Lord, let me be the one to set them free. I will give them every part of me. Put my heart where everyone can see. They can call me whatever they want, call me crazy. You can call me whatever you want, but that won't change me. I just don't care what the world says. I'm gonna make it. They can call me whatever they want. So what if I am crazy?
Ladies and gentlemen, check out some historic moments on the cover of the Tokyo 2020 times 4A7.
それでは昨日の東京パラリンピックの7日目の歴史的瞬間をご紹介します。
Yet another gold medal for that lady there, Amara Duran. She claims the title for the third successive Paralympic Games. Marcel Hu is going to make it a double gold at these Paralympic Games. It's Hu who takes it, and what a race, a new world record from Marcel Hu. Perez Lopez is going to get it. Perez Lopez takes it. What a performance from the Venezuelan. The rain might be coming down, but it's raining medals for them. Well, that is a photo finish indeed. Extremely tight finish. It's been given to Vera Andre, 11.97. The Venezuelan takes it.
Has she got the stamina, the endurance? She's certainly got the determination and character. Is Sophie Pascoe going to win that historic 10th Paralympic Games gold? She does so here. Sophie Pascoe joins a very elite club. Julia Terzi does not look like she is going to be caught. She is absolutely tearing the pool apart here, and no other competitor can come close. And world record for both Merishko and Zhang. They did heat for third. He was the 2000 Sydney champion, he was the Athens champion in 2004, and he's going to return Tokyo 2020 gold medalist Arnolfo Castorena, a three-time gold medalist in the men's 50-meter breaststroke SP2.
An unbelievable display of para-endurance from Dunkley. She has done her nation proud. It's a gold medal.
Another gold medal for the superstar of Paralympic sport.
RPC have defeated Egypt. Egypt were put in some precarious positions and able to claw their way back, but just couldn't finish out the sets. Thanks from Tonlu.
And another tip from Wiesenthal does the trick.
That's a soft ball, very difficult to move. Placement shot, goes for the placement. Lovely.
It's close. Sugamura very happy with that one.
It'll be a placement shot.
Yes, he places it right alongside the jack.
And there it is, game, set, and match Olcott. He's into the final gold medal match. Sam Schroeder, first-time Paralympian, and he's into the gold medal match. British team all smiles after that win, and so they should be as they move into the gold medal match.
Finishing with a fantastic ace as these fabulous Frenchmen into the final again.
And the first throw of extra time takes the USA through to the semi-finals of Tokyo 2020.
The 2016 gold medalists are through to the semi-finals. It's 9 goals to 4. Brazil almost in double figures now.
A place in the semi-finals, first time they've been there since 2008, goes to the People's Republic of China as they defeat Japan.
She takes Italy through to the semi-finals.
And she does it, Sue Bailey brings it home.
And what a finish! A terrific strike to double the advantage for China. Piera Suarez, a lovely finish. To go.
Oh, what a brilliant free kick! Yes, what a fantastic goal!
At half-time, Ukraine lead the USA 3-1. And the first throw of extra time takes the USA through to the semi-finals of Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games.
A place in the semi-finals goes to the People's Republic of China as they defeat Japan in this quarter-final match, 7-4.
Well, Lithuania took an early lead and they never really looked back from there. The 2016 gold medalists are through to the semi-finals. And Brazil are through to the semi-finals. And they looked absolutely dominant throughout. And even though Turkey put up a valiant fight, Brazil were just that bit better on the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes for women's quarterfinal game, Israel against Japan!
それでは女子準々決勝、イスラエルと日本の選手の皆さんをお迎えください。
The start list for this game.
先発メンバーは
Representing Israel.
イスラエル代表
Number 1, Ilham Mohammed Rosen. Number 3, Goalball Quart-Finals. Number 4, Or Mizrahi. Number 5, Rudy Ohio. Number 6, Lee David. Rosa Strong. And Beret Abenai. Representing Japan.
続きましては日本代表1番天満由紀2番浦川理恵3番竹畑英子6番萩原紀香7番高橋理恵子8番高杉遥市川良一さん加藤恵美さん、そして辻美穂子さん。
The referees for this game,
本試合の審判は
Raquel Aguado Gomez from Spain and Warwick James from Australia. 12 minutes and 10 seconds to game.
試合開始まで間もなく12分です。
Welcome back to the Makuhari Messe. We're here in Hall C. The goalball competition is intensifying in Tokyo. We're firmly into the knockout competition. And with the men's semi-finals confirmed, by the end of this day 8 in Tokyo, there will be just 4 teams going for the medals in the women's draw at this Paralympic Games. Reigning champions Turkey then moving into the last 4, a 10-6 win over Australia, moving them closer, should I say, to a chance of winning one of the glorious medals on offer at Tokyo 2020. They take on Japan, the host nation, with 2 wins and 2 defeats, 2 wins, a defeat and a draw in their group matches. Mercying Egypt, strong win 3-2 over the United States, and that 4-all draw with with Brazil.
Well, very, very excited with this one. I think one of the most even matchups in the quarter-finals, and really is hard to call. 2 very high-quality sides, both of which have had some success in the group stage, but they've wavered as well. Israel losing surprisingly to Canada. And here's Israel's previous results. See that loss against Canada and a narrow defeat against China as well. And there's such strength and depth in this women's competition. And I'm sure we're set for some real shocks and twists and turns in this match and in the rest of the knockout stage.
So the purple hair of Or Mizrahi just wandering in, trying to find her position there. She's had her eyes taped up. We expect her to be starting for Israel on the right wing, and right on the centre line as we look at this court is the great Lihi Ben David, second highest goal scorer in the tournament at the moment. 13 goals alongside Japan's Hagiwara Norika. So the sharpshooters on form in both teams.
Well, let's hope for lots of goals today. Ben David, a real Paralympic legend, and
average age of just 28 years old. But Lie, 44 years old, playing her 4th Paralympic Games, and says before goalball she felt invisible. Israel have proved themselves. Only got 5 players on their start list today.
well, I think that might be, sometimes you see later in the tournament sides with extra throws in mind. It's called blackout, one of their roster, and it means should they go to penalty throws, it means they would not be taking a penalty. So Israel in this knockout stage is always already thinking very tactically about the possibility of additional throws.
And you can see that it's Noah Malka, the 18-year-old who is wearing the bib. and won't be playing any part in this match. Hagiwara Norika, though, with 13 goals, very, very much will be. A very different playing style for these two teams. The Japanese, very calm, very smiley, very gentle. Israel, very powerful, very strong. And it'll be interesting to see how these two forces meet, because it is a knockout competition. We need a winner today. Brace yourself for a possible golden goal overtime.
We saw that yesterday, didn't we? Just how much drama can be produced from overtime.
And it can be decided with the first throw of overtime, or it could go for 2 halves of 3 minutes, a 3-minute break, and then extra throws if we still need to try and split the teams up.
And if you
That's
think
a long way off.
You've seen drama in this competition so far, overtime and extra throws, it is the highest of drama and greatest of tension.
So huddle in for Israel. That purple bib that says Tokyo 2020 shows Noah Malka as the player who will be sitting on the bench but will play no part in this match. Gal Hamrani looks like she's going to be starting. That's Lihi Ben David, a proper legend of the sport. 13 goals from 173 throws on the starting lineup. Lovely big hug there from Or Mizrahi.
And a real legend of the sport. We just had a masterclass from Sevdaran Tunaluk. We won't give away the result, but a real pleasure to watch another Paralympic icon on court today.
So in the centre, the legendary Urata Lie, gold medalist from London 2012. She absolutely delights in representing her country. We've got Kakahate Eiko, scored 3 goals for Japan in this competition so far. And Hagiwara Norika there. And the starting 3 for Israel. Gal Hamrani in the centre. Lihi Ben David starting over on the left-hand side as she perceives the playing surface, and on the right-hand side it will be Or Mizrahi with the glorious purple hair. So we are seeing the clock tick down. In less than 10 seconds we'll hear the hooter go, which means that the referees will come on court after a fist bump and check the eye shades. This game played by visually impaired athletes. They've taped up their eyes, and now an eye shade will be placed over the top so that everybody has the same level of impairment.
And it's strictly forbidden to touch your eye shades during the game. If you do so, it can result in a penalty against you. So any movement of eye shades has to be supervised by the officials, and you can see the process being keenly observed there.
So if everybody has their eyes covered, how do they know where the ball is? Well, there are bells inside the hard rubber ball that's used to play goalball. It's the size of a basketball, and it has to be played underarm.
And we'll see all variety of shots. We'll see the rotation throw, we'll see the smoother ball. One side even throws between the legs. And it's one of the delightful things about goalball, just the variety of shots. It certainly makes it very interesting to watch.
We'll let you listen into how the ball is played as much as possible for those of you who perhaps can't see the playing area as clearly as you'd like. We'll try and let you know what's going on without interfering your enjoyment of the match. There will be a buzzer that is a timing buzzer. The whistles will tell us whether play has stopped or started or a goal has been scored. And you'll also hear a horn if a team penalty has been given. But that is the buzzer telling us we are nearly ready to get underway. Welcome to the second of the women's quarter-finals in the goalball at Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games.
This game is between Japan on my left and Israel on my right. I would like to remind to the audience to keep quiet with the balls in play and switch off your mobile phones. Thank you. Japan, start with the ball. Quiet, please. Center.
Oh, it's one of those balls that the bells don't sound quite so loud in, but it will be Hagiwara who gets the ball into play. Down to Lihi Ben David of Israel on the left wing. Four more goals in the tournament overall. Israel over the 18 scored by Japan so far. Bin David. She's going down that left wing, and it just misses the right-hand post of Japan. There's a little bit of deception there with the feet coming forward. Always great communication between these three. Oz Misraki on the right-hand side there, just getting herself in the flow of things. A minute played in this first half. Big spin, big delivery, lots of power from Ben David. You know when she has played the ball down the surface. And all ears to try and defend.
Really interesting hearing the communication between the Japanese team. Really have a great sense of each other's position on court.
Oh, nice little shot down the right-hand side there by Hagiwara. Just trying to catch Bin David off position. But she's not, and that's a smooth ball. Testing Hagiwara. We've got the two top scorers on the playing surface for these teams facing off across the net. And as I say that, Hagiwara moves over the court. Hamrani stopping in the centre there.
Well, we said this would be a hard match to call, and it's been very even in these opening throws.
So the opening throws are very important in goalball. It's all about finding your patterns. A lot of guile and deception used in goalball to try and fool your opposition into thinking the ball is going to be going one way when it's actually going to go another. Finding those pockets and a pathway to the back of the net. Bin David just testing pocket number 5 for Japan. But the legs of the centre and the left wing keep it out. Big rotational push there from Or Misraki as she sends the ball down the court. Kakehata comfortably taking it though. This one's going down the middle. Yeah, quickly recovered by Gail Hamrani. Well within the 10 seconds allowed for the team possession. It's all very quiet and slightly tense.
Well, the ball's been in play almost continuously. That's what makes goalball so great. No time for a breather.
And 3.5 minutes played already. Oh, and a goal from Japan. Hagiwara Norika, absolutely splendid goal, putting Japan 1-0 up against Israel.
Brilliant accuracy there. Just nestling the ball in the bottom corner of that net. And it's an early advantage from Japan.
Yeah. Bin David does her talking with the ball. What does she say about this? She's silenced by Uratali. A little more purpose from the Israeli side. So Israel calling a timeout. This will be 45 seconds long. Clock stops with 8 minutes and 1 second to play in the first half.
Well, still early on, but Ben David perhaps hasn't quite hit her usual accuracy and her usual threat on goal. And it's been Japan that have looked the brighter first 4 minutes.
Israel not afraid to swap things around. So expect to see substitutions with players coming in and out. They can make a number of substitutions, and if a player goes off, they can come back on again. It's not the end of the match if they're taken off. They won't sit on the bench ready to return. So what can Israel do? They trail the hosts, Japan, by a 1-0. 4 minutes played in this first half. Hajiwara testing Miraki over on the right wing.
And it's been called as a long ball. And we said Ben David hadn't quite found her accuracy, and she gives away a penalty there, which she'll have to defend. The ball just bounced the other side of that line where the referee's positioned, and so it's a penalty.
Probably expect Hajiwara. Yes, she comes and delivers that down on the left-hand side as she sees it. Doubles the lead. It's Israel 0, Japan 2.
And 1v1. The attacking side often has the advantage, but that was a perfectly placed penalty, and Hajiwara once again finding that bottom corner with precision. Very hard to defend from there.
So Ben David is being substituted out by Israel. We're going to see Ilham Mohamed take to the courts. This is her first major tournament since becoming a mum. Young Amir back home with her husband, who's captain of the men's team. Come from very different backgrounds in Israel, but love crossing the barrier at a sports camp when they met many years ago. 31 years old though, Ilham Mohamed. 4 goals so far in this tournament. Can she get the breakthrough for Israel?
Israel taking off arguably their best player. That will be a big boost for Japan.
Don't underestimate Mohamed though. We hear a dummy. Then the play. Gal Hamrani. Just with the dummy there, helping out teammate or Mizrahi. Here's Mohamed. Trying to see if a bouncer can find a way through, but stopped by the Japanese.
Both sides using a dummy manoeuvre, just trying to create a bit of noise, distract the opposition.
And Mohamed just missing on the right-hand side as she perceives it, but just finding her range. Tapping on the floor from the Japanese as they prepare to launch the ball. Mizrahi with the rotational throw up the court. Bit of a rally going on there between players on the far side of the court. But Mohamed has it now on the left wing for Israel. She goes across court, but that is blocked by Kakahate, who sends it back the same way. Next on the playbook, Mizrahi over on the middle right. Atelier stopping that one. They're so light-footed, the Japanese players. It's difficult to hear them approaching. It's just a little bit of a seesaw action to this passage of play at the moment. Both teams looking for throwing patterns, throwing shapes to get the right shot in the right spot at the right time. Japan have been on target twice so far. Israel 0, Japan 2.
That was a colossal passage of play, both sides trading shots. And this first half has absolutely flown by, just 5 minutes left.
Was that nearly 3 minutes of continuous play?
Yeah, it was enthralling to watch.
So Hamrani giving it to Mahmoud. Great communication by the Japanese players. Everything seems to be just fine and dandy. So Hagiwara. Safely gathered by Mahmoud as Misraki. Oh, she was really testing the top scorer for Japan on the right-hand side of that net, but the angle not quite acute enough for her to do any damage.
Japan have looked very impressive indeed in this first half. They started brightly and they're moving around the court with real elegance, real promise. And Israel a lot to think about now with Ben David on the bench. And just 4 minutes left of this first half. Only a 2-goal margin. We've seen much bigger margins get overturned, not least in the men's competition yesterday.
Absolutely, 2 goals is nothing in goalball, especially where you also sometimes see a penalty given before play even starts. You'd be 1-0 up before the first whistle is blown. So Japan have the ball over on the left. Trying to disguise the shot by all three running forward together. Mahmoud forcing a outright stretch on the left from Kakahata. Misraki over on the left wing now for Israel.
And if you're wondering why Japan keep possession there, because it went out of play before the high ball line, it's blocked out, and so Japan keep the ball.
And Misraki's feet may have been out of play, but the ball was still on the surface there, so that's clean down the court. And the quiet please from the referee is to the crowd or spectators and coaches, players allowed to continue communicating or disguise their shots with, as we've seen, little pitter-patters on the surface. Very vocal deception from Turkey in the earlier match. We also see the coaches signalling for Israel there that we're going to have a substitution coming on. So Mahmoud makes way for Bin David. A few minutes off the court. The decision maybe to shake up the spray, shake up the play.
And Israel really missed her when she was off court, even though she hasn't quite been on form today. Maybe just taking some time to gather her thoughts. Maybe she'll come back on with renewed energy.
Also gives Japan, it means that Japan have to reassess who is on the court. They've got a different player coming on. They could be in a different position.
We often see players score with their first throw just because they're providing something so different, and it's difficult to defend something new. So it's the reason substitutions are so important in this game.
So it's Misraki who has left the court for now. Got Mahimid over on the right. Hamrani in the centre and Bin David over on the left for Israel. And a hand in the air from Ruata Lie because she's lost her eye shades.
Well, you can see the gauze that goes underneath these eye shades. And the pace at which these players throw themselves around court. Not surprising that sometimes they get dislodged or fall off.
Many goalballers stick with the sport and love the sport because it is just for them. It's for the visually impaired, hasn't been adapted from any other sport. They own it. And they lie their body on the line to play it. So, 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in this first half. There's a little conflab between the Japanese players as the ball moves into the centre. They're leading by 2-0 against Israel. A long way to go in this second of the women's quarter-finals on day 8 of the goalball competition at Tokyo 2020. Kakehata. Mahamid. Safely blocked by Lie. You won't see her throw at all.
It's a more traditional goalball setup. Centre passes the ball to the wings. You do see some centres now capable of scoring goals as well, not least Amanda Dennis in USA.
Another probing shot from the Japanese, deceptively firm, as Mahamid puts her rotational shot down the right-hand wing. Less than 2 minutes to play now in the first half. We'll have a 3-minute break. And then another 12 minutes to go. Time enough to book a place in the last 4 of the women's competition in the goalball. Various strategies in play here. Lihi Ben David hoping that the opponents have been lulled into not expecting the big ball to come down from that left-hand side. But come it did. And Lie just getting forward enough to put a hip on that ball on its third bounce and kill the bounce. Good positioning so far.
It's really interesting seeing how Japan often throwing from up court, really putting energy and momentum. There's an example there.
Oh, and very successful it is too. That's another goal for Hagiwara Norika of Japan, moving right up the court, as you said.
Well, Hagiwara, she's been pinpoint with her accuracy today and just moving up court, creating a bit of offensive momentum, and it was too much for the Israeli defence.
Releasing the ball just before the neutral zone. Israel 0, Japan 3. 40 seconds left to play in this first half. We could still see plenty of timeouts called, more likely to be safe for that second half. What a start by Japan.
Quiet, please. Play.
What they wouldn't give for a gold medal on home turf. But we're not close to that yet. Mahamid gathering the ball. She'll get one more shot in before the half-time buzzer sounds. That is... Sorry, equipment check. Will be just a few seconds of that, and then we've got 8.4 seconds left of this first half.
Well, the equipment check usually means there's an issue with eye shades. And it's Gal Hamrani Just having them supervised. You can see there she's a B1 athlete. These eye shades mean that athletes of all different levels of visual impairment, they can play side by side, and that's why it's such an inclusive sport.
So Japan just letting this clock run down. They won't incur a 10-second penalty. And there they go. Get safely to the break with a 3-goal advantage at half-time. It's Israel 0, Japan 3.
Well, Japan really dominated that first half. Hagawara with some great accuracy and real precision, adding some goals to the score sheet. Israel haven't quite started in the way we might have expected. Lihi Ben-David off court for several minutes. Israel with lots to think about at the half-time break.
So 3 goals for Hagiwara Norika, putting Japan in control of the quarter-final. 2 from open play and 1 penalty throw into the back of the net. Japan owning this match at the moment, but it can all change in just a few minutes in this sport. Oh, big ball in the face there for Orata Lie, taking the eye shades off in the first half. And we go through the procedure of another eye shade check after the half-time interval. Players able to towel down a bit at that point. Just the 1 penalty so far and converted by top scorer for Japan, Hagiwara.
Well, we look at the statistics there. Throws, blocks, almost identical in every respect, but Japan just that bit more clinical with the finishing, and that slight lack of discipline there from Ben-David, giving away the penalty too.
We also see quite often when the penalties start coming slightly later in the game maybe, that players are just trying to get that extra bit of speed, that extra bit of power to try and get the ball past their opponents, and we'll see the long balls called then, or the high ball, when the ball's just lifted with that final flick of the wrists.
Sometimes in the adrenaline of these big matches, you can just overshoot it. Can be the difference to the ball going either side of that line, and very small margins that decide things at the knockout stages.
There's something about this Japanese side that when they're in a group hug like that, you forget they're playing in the pinnacle of parasports, the greatest stage that goalball can have. They just look like having a lovely time together.
They do, they look very happy on court. And they move around so gracefully as well. It really is good to watch.
The score in the half time, Israel, Japan 3, Israel 0. Israel, start with the ball. Quiet, please. Center.
So 13 goals before this match for Lihi Ben-David of Israel. She'll be looking to add to that tally to try and keep her team in the competition at Tokyo 2020. Israel are down, but they're not out yet. Let's see these throwing patterns as they develop at Japan, taking it over to the right wing, attacking the centre. Mahmoud for Israel. Kind of central left position. Testing the pocket between the left wing and the centre. So Ben-David over on the right wing there, just trying to make that right-handed shot appear different to her opponents down the other end, but you can guarantee they know which ball is coming at them. The sound of it, the weight of it, They've played each other often enough to know who's sending the ball down from the opposite end. And that is a goal for Israel. They pull one back. Ilham Mohammed finding a way through in the pocket number 3 of the despairing feet of Hagiwara, trying to stop that from going in.
Well, Israel finally on the score sheet. And it was a noble effort from Japan, but all 3 players couldn't keep it out. It's game on.
Less than 11 minutes to go. Israel pull one back. They still trail by 2 to Japan. 3 first half goals for Hagiwara. Kakehata. That will have given the Israelis heart. Coaching staff being the eyes of the players, seeing if they can see the patterns being thrown by the opposition. But the players in goalball all ears for the ring of that bell, or those bells inside the ball. Using those tactile lines to get themselves into position for defence. Mohammed. Lie. Urata actually taking that one quite comfortably. Oh, nearly finding a way through there, Israel. Timeout called.
Well, you just mentioned the lines. For me, it's really exciting just watching how the players navigate themselves around. They use the lines, they use the goal, they use each other sometimes just to orientate themselves, and it is really phenomenal to think they can't see anything with those eye shades on, just watching how they move around court.
Strong core muscles. A lot of work in the gym for these athletes preparing for Tokyo 2020. Hours and hours in the gym, because it's not just about the getting up, the getting down and the throwing of the ball, it's the blocking, and that ball coming at a pace, 1.25 kilograms. So there's some weight behind it as well. Using their body to stop it, and a minimal amount of padding, really. Lihi Ben David sneaking over to the left wing, rotating. Just coming off the face of Hagiwara. That one visits a groan from Mohammed. Just checking the left-hand side of Kakehata. Playing well on the left wing for Israel, for Japan. Strong use of the legs there by Hamrani.
Well, never quite got her bearings there. Started off court and the ball landed out of play. And it's been a tough match for Lihi Ben David.
We've seen her fire the ball in the first few seconds of play, but yet to make it onto the score sheet with 3 minutes gone now in this second half. 9 minutes to play in this second women's quarter-final in the goalball competition in Tokyo. And again, both sides testing those patterns. Trying to pull a player out of position so that the next shot goes in. So, Japan have the ball. Ben David stops that. Winds herself up for a big one.
Because that ball just went out of play on the other side of the high ball line, it means it's called as ball over. And so Israel will throw. It's
the kind of ball that Ben David loves to send down the court. And Urata loves to save. Mahmoud just seeing if there is any way through. Pocket number 5 over on the Japan defence. Ben David. Pulling Urata off her line to the right, but safely gathered by this veteran of the Paralympic Games.
Well, Israel calling the timeout. They really need to change something here. We've seen Ben David come off and on court, but apart from that bright spot from Mahmoud, we haven't seen much to trouble the Japanese team.
And just the 3 players of Japan on the court with the coaching staff. Saw the entirety of the Israel contingent there, bringing water, chatting, passing on what information they can. It's 7 minutes 33 on our countdown clock. Israel 1, Japan 3. The host nation in charge. Ben David sends the ball into the centre. Hagiwara coming over to the left. That's Hamrani going down the line. That's a good block there by Gal Hamrani. Second Paralympic Games for her.
Ben David again, just wide. Not finding her accuracy at all. In fact, she's yet to score here, which is very rare for her.
Definitely doesn't seem to have quite the mojo she's had in the earlier part of the competition. But don't rule her out. She can strike at any time. Passes the ball over to Mahmoud, though. A nice bit of defence from the Japanese players there. The ball just going slightly in the air. They've recovered those pretty well so far in this quarter-final lineup. Now, from a strategy point of view, it's possible that Ben David is keeping her firepower under wraps. He's going to go for a furious blast at the end. Just getting past Urata there, but not past Kakewahata. Positioning herself for this throw. Hajiwari on the right wing. Left wing is Kakahata. Goes up the line there.
Well, Ben David there just dummied walking to the other side of the court, so she went to halfway and then went back. She was in exactly the same position where she started, but opposition thought she was on the opposing wing.
Every squeak of shoe and sound of footsteps helping the players at the other end locate. The ball coming towards them at speed, so the bell's not entirely helpful. It does help if you know where the ball is coming from in the first place. You can track it up the playing surface. Japan calling the timeout.
Well, Japan looking very comfortable. And even though the lead's only 2 goals, they look very much in control. Hard to see where an Israeli goal might come from. Although, as you've said, things can change very quickly. And it only takes 1 throw, 1 mistake, and Israel are right back in it.
These players are working so hard. That much is evident. Now the Japanese substitutions, Wakusugi and Takahashi, are all ready to go should they be called on to play. They're all patched up, ready for an eye shade check should they be called on, but it's as you were for Japan and for Israel. And a reminder, it's Ben David, Hamrani and Mohammed. For Israel, and Hagiwara, who has the ball, Urata and Kakahata for Japan. Less than 5 minutes to play. Israel 1, Japan 3. Just a little Japanese tap on the crossbar of the goalpost. So gentle and delicate. I'm not sure they could hear it at the other end. Great communication.
Well, again, Ben David starting off court, but she's not getting the angle she needs to land the ball in court, and it just keeps going wide of that wing.
Sometimes she seems to lose her footing. She's got a very specific way of putting extra power into the ball, and it looks like her feet slip out from under her. She changed her footwear from the first match that she played in. There were a different colour pair of shoes. These have been her favoured ones so far. Time is running out for Israel.
And both sides competing for the right to play Turkey in the semi-final. Japan will fancy their chances based on this form. They did play Turkey and they lost earlier in the competition, but in knockout stages anything can happen.
It's a cliche, but there are no easy matches at this point of the top-level competition for goalball. Elam Mohammed down the centre for Israel. Okay, say Japan, we've got this. Kakehata just missing on the left-hand side. Mohammed again. Just getting a little bit more bounce on it that time. Trying to get the ball in the air. Still those bells. It does feel that some balls have noisier bells than others. These ones are pretty quiet. Oh, that was a nice test down the right-hand wing from Israel. Mohammed really pushing Kakehata into the block there, and she's shaking that one off. A bit of a stinger on the hand. Kakehata's left hand, a real stinger after the shot coming from Mohammed. This is Ben David. A brilliant stop with the feet, though, by Japan's Hagiwara. Oh, there was a bounce on that, but it's just solid in defence for Japan. And what can Israel do? It's Israel 1, Japan 3, 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in what's been near continuous play in this match.
Yeah, it's such a physical sport to play goalball, and the ball's in play, as you say, almost continuously. No time for a rest at all.
Urata Lie, the 44-year-old, playing in her 4th Paralympic Games, coming off now. She's under rest. Takahashi Lieko coming on instead. No throws, playing a very traditional, as has been described, game of goalball, but plenty of blocks.
She's been brilliant today, and she's been such a rock for Japan in the centre through the years.
She's also another player that was inspired by following the Paralympic Games. She was inspired what happened in Athens. And as she was losing her sight, realised it was a sport for her. Japan in control of this second women's quarter-final match. Ben David testing Takahashi. What a time to come on as a substitute. I'm not sure I'd thank the coach for bringing me on at this stage of a match like this, but she's playing like a trooper. A great save there. Hajiwara. And that clock is becoming an enemy to the Israelis. They're trailing Japan by 2 goals.
And I think we'll see Japan taking their time with the shots, using all of their 10 seconds.
Oh, that one goes up in the air off the feet of Ben David. But her teammates have it covered. Less than a minute and a half now. Oh, and a late block for Kakahata. Little help with the countdown there for Kakahata. And exactly as you say, and is that going to be another goal for Israel, for Japan? They make it 4. Hajiwara absolutely delighted.
Well, she's been on target, on point all match, and Ben David perhaps disappointed with the defence there. She had her body partially behind it, but it just squirmed behind her, and Japan now surely heading into that semi-final.
Well, it's a hard rubber ball, and it does bounce when it hits something at speed, and that came off of Ben David, so blocking it into her own goal, the only goal that she's found so far in this match. 13 goals coming into this match for Lihi Ben David, but she has been out of luck with 44 seconds still to go in this match. The Japanese still need to defend. Israel 1, Japan 4. But it's not going the way of the Israelis. Clever tactics from the Japanese, using every bit of the time they have. And possibly just 2 more plays needed for the Japanese. Just checking that the ball gets underway. We're under 20 seconds. Israel are going out of this competition. Oh, and to add insult to injury, Lihi Ben David must now face a penalty.
Well, the penalty's been declined there. There's a tactical reason for that. So taking the penalty would return the ball with the clock not being in action. But now Japan have the opportunity just to run down the clock here. So they've chosen not to go for the penalty, so they won't get the goal, but they will lose time, which is arguably more important.
13 seconds to go before Japan can celebrate taking their place in the last 4 at Tokyo 2020. Israel will struggle to get the shot away. And Japan are through to the semi-finals of Tokyo 2020 after a comprehensive 4-1 win over Israel.
Well, it never looked in doubt. Japan just looked so assured on court right from the first moment. And although Israel had some good efforts, they weren't quite on top form today. And it's Japan, the worthy winners, who will place Turkey in the semi-finals.
So much emotion from these history makers. It was the women's goalball team winning gold in London 2012 who became the first Paralympic team medalists to win gold for Japan. Urata Lie, the number 2, was there on the top step in London. And look how much that means to these athletes. They are jubilant in success. A jubilant, joyous Japan go through to place Turkey in the semi-finals.
Well, emotional moment for Licky Ben-David. She's taken Israel to such heights in the past, and she would have really wanted a Paralympic gold, but Israel have played brilliantly throughout this tournament, and Ben-David's been fantastic as ever, and she's got a lot to be proud of from Tokyo.
Now, this sport is played in silence, and before Goalball gets underway in the arena, there's an announcement made telling everybody to be quiet. And I didn't know there were quite so many Japanese workers and volunteers who are at the arena, in the arena, because it's been so silent, but they are here to celebrate the Japanese victory today as Israel come together as a team. They win together, they lose together, they stay together as a team. So there's the result. Israel 1, Japan 4. No goals at all for Licky Ben-David, who is being supported by Ormir Taraki and her coach, Raz Shochem. Just looks absolutely disconsolate. Tears of a different kind, though, for Japan. They're into the final 4 at a home Paralympic Games. Their country will be cheering them on from here on in.
Japan men eliminated yesterday, but the women have done the job today on court.
The statistics say it all. 4 goals for Japan, one of those coming from the penalty. Licky Ben-David having a bad day at the office for her, but let's give due credit to Japan. That defence was unbreakable.
It really was. They just looked in control at every moment, the way they moved, the way they threw. And they will provide, as we look at the bracket, whoever lies ahead in the gold or bronze medal match. They're a very formidable opponent.
So Turkey-Japan in the semi-finals. Still to come on day 8. China taking on Brazil. The United States playing the RPC. But Japan into the last 4 at a home Paralympic Games. Joyous celebrations from the home nation, Japan, through to the last 4 of the women's goalball competition.
Well, they were very impressive indeed. The amazing thing about watching Japan is their teamwork, the way they move the ball around the court. And they're not 3 individual players, they're 1 unit. And they were absolutely superb today. And Israel, formidable opposition, but Japan made easy work of it in the end.
So Israel will go away, exiting the Paralympic Games in the quarter-finals for the 2nd time running. Israel will go away and rethink. Japan get to perform again in front of their home nation. Tokyo 2020 will see Japan play in the semi-finals of the women's goalball against Turkey. At the Makuhari Messe, it's finished. Israel 1, Japan 4.